CGC once again did me a solid. Not only was the turnaround time extremely quick, we're talking literally 4 days, but the grades were a lot higher than I expected them to be. But hey, I'm not complaining. In this video, we're gonna review the 29 card CGC submission that I sent out just last week. All these cards come from the $4,500 binder collection that I recently bought. And thankfully, this is gonna cover most of that cost with a lot of other cards left to spare. But enough talking, let's look at some cards. I'm gonna be showing these cards in the same order as the submission grading video that I did last week. The first like 10 or so cards we looked at pretty in depth to see what sorts of damage, whitening, dents, anything that may be on the card, and then you should be able to compare that with the grade that we got and hopefully give you an idea of how CGC is currently grading. Now obviously this is only one grader, it's only like 10 cards, so take it with a grain of salt. It's not a huge sample size. Once again, I think we're going to see that CGC is definitely more lax on surface issues than PSA. First card is the Charizard Japanese base. This is a 7.5. I kind of thought it would land around this area. If you guys remember, there was a dent that kind of followed this edge down about maybe a third of the way down the card, a quarter to a third of the way down the card. Otherwise, the card was extremely minty clean, very centered. So I'm not surprised at all by the 7.5. Very, very beautiful Charizard. Next up is the CD promo Charizard. This one got the 9. So honestly, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of cards to get 9s. I thought 9 might be the maximum grade that we get on a few of them, but we got even higher than 9 on a few of the cards that I sent in, which was very surprising to me. But we did get the CGC 9 Mint CD Promo Holo. Very, very nice. Next up, this one is an interesting one. So we have CGC 9.5 Blaine's Charizard. I got really lucky that a lot of these cards were really fairly centered. This one's a little top to bottom heavy, but not terrible. There was a question or a comment on the submission video of a person saying that they thought they saw a crease on this card while I was grading them. I didn't personally see a crease, but clearly CGC didn't see a crease because it got the CGC 9.5. I don't think there was a crease. I think it was something maybe to do with shadows or something during the video. But yeah, 9.5, definitely higher grade than I thought any of these cards would get, but very happy. There's a lot more of 9.5s to come. Next up, continuing the Charizard train, we have the Dark Charizard from Rocket Gang. This one got the CGC 9. Absolutely gorgeous card. One of my favorite WotC Charizards. I love it. The only Blastoise we sent in, but it is the CD promo, and this one got the 9. I remember this one looking fairly clean. I'm not surprised that this one got the 9. Man, I really did just get lucky with a lot of these old WotC Japanese cards being pretty well centered out of this binder, so I gotta say, I got pretty lucky there. But yeah, this one getting the 9, very nice. It's the first time I've ever owned the CD promos, and to get 2 9s, pretty sick. Finishing off the CD promo set, we have the Venusaur. So this one got the 7.5, and if you remember during the video, I showed off that it had a pretty significant binder dent happening down around here, I think. So if you go back and look at the video, you should see it around this area. And so yeah, not surprised that this got the 7.5. Again, centered, really clean looking card from the front and the back. Beautiful card, completes the set. Unfortunately, we don't have a 9 set, but I understand why the card got a 7.5. This is the same artwork, but it's from the Bulbasaur deck. So this is from an intro pack from back in the day. Bulbasaur, you get the little Bulbasaur icon there, very cute. And this one got the 8. I remember this card having some issues, but getting an 8 makes sense to still send in for grading. These ones are really cool. So we got the Misaki promos. This one got the 8. So this Misaki promo had pretty significant Misaki marks, but otherwise looked pretty nice. I don't think there was significant whitening or anything around the edges. There weren't any like major bends or issues, but it did have pretty noticeable Misaki marks, but was still able to get the 8 with CGC, which is pretty damn cool. Next up, we have the Misaki promo Machamp. This one was really clean. The Misaki marks were more faint. There wasn't any other significant damage, really. So this one getting the 9 was super awesome. But yeah, we got the 9 on the Machamp. I think it's actually fairly tough with PSA to get this high of a grade on the Misaki cards. But with CGC, yeah, I don't know if they're just incorporating the Misaki marks as a part of as a part of, you know, kind of the grades of those cards. It is an interesting thing. It's like if every single card has the same error from the same set for the most part, with like there being some exceptions, does it deserve to kind of be graded on a weighted scale, given that, you know, how you did tests in high school where everyone failed, so then they like weighted it? It is kind of interesting to talk about it in that way, where it's like, okay, so if every single card, because of the way that they're distributed, has some sort of impressions on the corners, should we factor that into like a weighted grading system because of the card that it is? I think personally that it makes sense to do so if every single card has the same issue, but then people will make the argument of consistency and every card should be graded the same way and stuff like that. So it's really up to them, but I like the way that they do it. So let's move on to, we have the Uyama's Pikachu. This one, man, the 9.5 on the Uyama's Pikachu, one of Professor Oak's favorite Pikachus, if I remember correctly. I think he actually really doesn't like this Pikachu. I think it's actually pretty nice, but yeah, super unique looking card. Look at the back here. Definitely a different Pokemon card back than you typically see. Very, very clean looking Uyama's Pikachu. I thought maybe it had a chance at a 10 when I sent it off, but it got the 9.5, so I'm pretty happy about that. The very first Moonbryon, we have the Umbreon from Crossing the Ruins. This is the very first Moonbryon. Big moon in the background. Beautiful looking Umbreon. And yeah, it got the 9. Very happy about that one. Lugia from Gold Silver to a New World. This one got the 8.5. I think probably because it's a bit more off-center than the Moonbryon, for instance. So obviously this right-hand side's a lot thicker than the left. I think it looked pretty clean otherwise. It has a couple white dots here and there, but very nice looking Lugia. Back to Japanese base, we have the Mewtwo. So this Mewtwo got the CGC 9 mint. A lot of these were very centered and very clean. So the fact that this one got the 9, I was very happy with. Now, a lot of these cards, when I looked at them originally, the reason why I didn't think a lot of them would get 9s or 9.5s is because a lot of them seem to have like the little micro surface scratches on the back. A lot of old back Japanese seems to have that, and I kind of thought that it would affect the grade more than they did, but it's not really that noticeable from like a visual standpoint unless you're really looking at it under, you know, a bright light and really trying to do your due diligence with pre-grading. Let's go on to a card that did get higher than that. We got the Dragonite from Mystery of the Fossils. This one got the CGC 9.5 gem mint. You can see why I send some cards to CGC over PSA. I really don't think these cards have a chance at a PSA 10. It would be a fun experiment to do, is crack out all the 9.5s from this submission and send them a PSA and see what they got, but I'm not going to, because I do think that they might get a lower grade if I did. So we do have the Zapdos here from Mystery of the Fossil as well. This one got the 9.5, so we got the Dragonite and the Zapdos getting the 9.5. This set is really fun. So this is the Quick Starter gift set. We have the Hollow Articuno. So this one got the 8. The other two got the 9.5s. So we have the Quick Starter gift set Moltres Hollow. Really cool artwork. Really like it a lot. This is from the vending series, I think, but it came from a particular set. And then we have the Zapdos Hollow. Kind of tough to see the hollow on that dark background, but really nice. This one also got the 9.5. Now we have two Snorlaxes. Basically the same art, just slightly different. We got the 9.5 Pokemon Jungle Snorlax, and then we got the 9 Hungry Snorlax. So this one is a promo. Looks like it came from a Nintendo 64 game or console, possibly. And then this one is obviously from the Jungle set. You see a really nice swirl there on the left. Next up, we got a Vaporeon. So this Vaporeon has a nice swirl down there. And look how much hollow is on this Vaporeon. Oh my god, there's so much. It's like every inch of it is just completely full. That one got the 9.5, really nice. The Rocket Scyther, one of my favorite Scyther artworks, just because he's looking so badass. This card also got the mint 9. Next up, Blaine, one of my favorite trainers from back in the day. We got the Blaine's Arcanine 9.5 gem mint. This is from the deck, it looks like, not from, oh, it's because it doesn't have a rarity symbol. So you can tell if it's from the deck or from the set, I think, whether or not it has a rarity symbol in the bottom right. So a lot of times people hear no rarity, Japanese no rarity WotC, and they think, oh man, every card with no rarity is super, super rare and expensive. But a lot of the theme decks past base, I'm not sure if base was the same way, but a lot of the theme decks, the cards don't have a rarity to them. So that doesn't mean that this is like a no rarity expensive card. It just is from a deck. I think it might be only Japanese based that no rarity occurs in a way that's like an error or very expensive. Here we got the Gengar from Fossil, CGC 9.5. Once again, super minty. Watsy. The T17 Typhlosion. No, I wish this was a T17 Typhlosion. This is the equivalent, but in Japanese. And apparently, I don't know if this is an error or just the way that they first printed it and then they, fixed it later, but it says incorrect damage. So I don't know if this isn't supposed to be 60, it's supposed to be something else. I didn't even realize that this was the thing when I sent it in, so they must have identified it and put that on the label. So very happy CGC with that. Appreciate it, because I definitely wasn't aware. But this one got the 9.5 as well. Super clean looking Typhlosion. Everyone knows this card. We have the Ancient Mew. So this actually came in the promo folder. I had the folder, I cut it out of the folder, and this one got the 9 because it has a little bit of a lip here. Nothing too major, but otherwise little off center, but super clean. And this is the Nintendo error. So version 1 error is because it's spelt wrong. It's Nintendo instead of Nintendo. They forgot the N there in the bottom. So this is the Nintendo error, Ancient Mew, and a CGC 9. Very nice. And now we're to English. Oh my God, English Pokemon cards. That never happens on this channel. We have the Blastoise EX promo XY122 from the Red and Blue collection. This one got the 8.5. I love this artwork so much. You got Blastoise, Gyarados, Vaporeon. Absolutely amazing looking card. And then after that, we also had, I'm so sad that the Charizard didn't come in this collection, because the Charizard's super cool as well. But we did get the Venusaur too. This one also got the 8.5. So we have the Scyther and the Oddish and the Venusaur. Absolutely amazing artworks. Last but not least, we're going back to Charizard, baby. The big man. We've got the Boundaries Crossed Cosmo Hollow Charizard. I think this came from a deck because it's the Cosmo Hollow. Could be wrong, but this one got the 8.5. Obviously pretty off-center left to right, but otherwise pretty clean, nice looking card. All right, guys, that is it. If you want to compare the pre-grade to the grade that the cards got, you can take a look at this video right here where I pre-graded all of these cards and showed you guys exactly what was wrong with them, so you guys can take a look and learn a little bit more about CGC's grading scale.